My beloved child. Stop scrolling for a moment. Do not rush past this message. Something has been trying to reach you. Something unseen. Something sacred. Something that has been whispering your name in moments when you thought no one was listening. And what you are about to hear was not meant for everyone. It was meant to find you. Not yesterday. Not tomorrow. Now. Because there is a hidden scene unfolding around your life at this very moment. A scene you were never supposed to witness, yet heaven has chosen to let you see it. Last night, while the world slept and the stars kept their ancient watch over the earth, your soulmate sat across from someone at a dinner table. A quiet table. A dimly lit place. Soft music played in the background, but neither of them truly heard it. The candles burned low. 2 glasses stood untouched for long stretches. And though anyone passing by would have assumed it was just another ordinary dinner, it was not ordinary. Not even close. It was a divine collision. A moment heaven allowed for a reason. Because the person sitting across from your soulmate was someone you know. And when I say you know them, I do not mean a stranger whose face you passed once in a crowd. No. This is someone connected to your world. Someone whose name would stir something inside you. Someone who has been closer to your story than you realize. And before fear rises in your chest, before jealousy tries to enter your mind, before doubt begins whispering its poison, listen carefully. What happened last night was not betrayal. It was revelation. It was not the breaking of your story. It was the beginning of its unfolding. You see, your soulmate did not arrive at that dinner expecting what would happen. They believed it was just another evening. Just another meeting. Just another conversation. They dressed carefully, yes. But not because they knew destiny was waiting. They checked themselves in the mirror. Straightened their clothes. Took one long breath. And beneath that breath was a weight they could not explain. A longing. A restlessness. An ache. They have been carrying your absence longer than they admit. Even if they do not yet know your face fully. Their spirit knows your absence. Their soul has felt the empty seat where you belong. And that emptiness has grown louder. It followed them to sleep. It met them in the morning. It interrupted their laughter. It made ordinary moments feel incomplete. They have smiled lately, but not with their whole heart. Because part of their heart has been reserved. Reserved for you. Even before they knew your name. And so last night, they walked into that restaurant carrying invisible questions. Why does my heart feel unfinished? Why does something feel close but out of reach? Why does it feel like someone is calling me, but I cannot yet hear the voice? And then they saw who was waiting at the table. And for one moment, their entire body froze. Because they recognized the person. And more importantly, their spirit reacted before their mind did. A strange feeling moved through them. A trembling. A knowing. A holy discomfort. Not because danger was present, but because truth was near. The person across from them smiled. But it was not an ordinary smile. It was the smile of someone who already knew something. Something your soulmate did not. Something about you. Something about this connection. Something heaven had kept hidden until now. And when they sat down, the air changed. The atmosphere shifted. Even the waiter who approached their table sensed it without understanding it. Some encounters are ordinary. Others are orchestrated. This was orchestrated. Your soulmate tried to act normal. They exchanged greetings. Polite words. Small talk. Questions about work. Questions about life. But beneath every sentence was tension. Not romantic tension. Spiritual tension. A deeper kind. The kind that makes your chest tighten when destiny is nearby. The kind that makes your hands suddenly feel too heavy. The kind that makes silence louder than speech. And then it happened. The person across from your soulmate asked one question. Just one. A question so simple it seemed harmless. Yet it changed everything. They leaned forward and asked. Tell me, who have you been thinking about lately? Your soulmate laughed at first. Dismissed it. Tried to answer casually. But then, their face changed. Because your face, whether fully known or still hidden, passed through their mind like lightning. And it startled them. They looked away. Reached for their glass. Took a breath they didn't realize they needed. And suddenly they understood something terrifying. They had been thinking about you far more than they admitted. More than was logical. More than was comfortable. More than made sense. You have been entering their thoughts at strange times. In the middle of errands. During random songs. At traffic lights. At 2:11 in the morning. At moments so quiet they could hear their own heartbeat. And every time your energy touched them, they dismissed it. Coincidence, they said. Stress, they said. Imagination, they said. But last night, they could no longer deny it. Because the person sitting across from them knew. They knew. And your soulmate felt it. That person looked at them with eyes too calm. Too steady. And then they said words that made your soulmate's heart skip. They said, "You're not crazy. What you're feeling is real." Silence. Your soulmate blinked. Their fingers tightened around the edge of the table. Their mouth opened, but no words came out. Because how could this person know? How could they know what your soulmate had been hiding even from themselves? How could they know about the dreams? Yes, the dreams. The ones your soulmate has not told anyone about. Dreams where they walk towards someone they cannot fully see. Dreams where a voice calls them, "Come closer." Dreams where they wake up with tears they cannot explain. Dreams where your energy brushes theirs and leaves warmth behind. Those dreams. The person across from them knew about them. Without being told. And suddenly dinner was no longer dinner. It became a confession chamber. A spiritual unveiling. A collision between the visible and the invisible. Your soulmate whispered. How do you know? And the answer they received shook them. Because the person smiled softly and said, because I know who they are. My beloved child. Can you feel the weight of this moment? Can you understand why your hands may be trembling as you hear this? Because heaven has hidden you in plain sight. And now the veil is thinning. The person sitting across from your soulmate is not random. They are a messenger. Not an angel. Not a prophet. A human messenger. Placed strategically. Someone connected to both your worlds. Someone trusted enough to carry truth. Someone brave enough to say what others would not. They looked directly at your soulmate and said, you've been trying to outrun this connection. Your soulmate nodded. Because it was true. They have tried. They buried themselves in work. Distracted themselves with responsibilities. Surrounded themselves with noise. Accepted invitations they didn't care about. Smiled at people they did not feel connected to. Even entertained attention from others. Not because they wanted them. But because they were afraid of wanting you. Afraid of what this connection means. Afraid of losing control. Afraid of surrender. Because to love what heaven has chosen for you requires courage. And your soulmate has been afraid. Afraid of how deeply they already feel you. Afraid of someone they may not yet fully understand. Afraid of a bond too powerful to explain. So they ran. But last night, the running stopped. Because the messenger would not let them hide anymore. They asked another question. What exactly are you afraid of? And your soulmate answered honestly for the first time. They said, I'm afraid this is real. Do you hear that? Not afraid it is fake. Afraid it is real. Because if it is real, then everything changes. If it is real, then they must stop pretending they feel nothing. If it is real, then they must admit that your energy has already entered their life. If it is real, then they must prepare for you. And that preparation has already begun. Last night they began releasing things. Not physically. Internally. Old attachments. Old wounds. Old names. Old habits. Old grief. Things they have clung to for years suddenly felt heavy. Because your arrival demands space. You cannot enter a house still full of ghosts. And your soulmate finally understood that. But then, the conversation took a turn neither of them expected. The messenger leaned in closer. Their voice lowered. And they said, there's something else you need to know. At those words your soulmate's heart started pounding. Their intuition screamed. Their body knew before their mind did. This next truth would change everything. The messenger reached into a bag. Pulled out something small. Something ordinary looking. And placed it on the table. Your soulmate stared at it. Frozen. Unable to breathe. Because it was connected to you. Directly. Impossible to deny. A sign. A clue. A piece of your world. Something that should not have been there. Something that could only mean one thing. You are closer than either of you thought. Closer in distance. Closer in timing. Closer in destiny. And your soulmate felt tears rising. Not sadness. Recognition. Their soul recognized you. Even without explanation. Even without introduction. Even without proof. Their soul knew. And in that moment, they whispered your name. Yes. Your name. Maybe softly. Maybe uncertainly. But they said it. And heaven heard it. Do you understand what that means? Your name crossed their lips under candlelight. Not by accident. By divine appointment. And when they spoke it, something inside them unlocked. Walls fell. Resistance cracked. Denial weakened. Love, quiet, hidden, unfinished love, began to breathe. And yet, there is still one thing they do not know. One truth still hidden. One final piece heaven has not yet allowed them to see. Because revelation always comes in layers. Not all at once. Too much truth too soon can overwhelm the heart. So heaven has paced this carefully. Step by step. Heartbeat by heartbeat. And right when your soulmate thought the night was ending, the messenger said one final sentence. A sentence so powerful it has echoed inside them ever since. They said, "You think you've been looking for them?" They paused. Your soulmate leaned in. Their entire body tense. And then, "But they've been looking for you too." Silence. Pure silence. The room disappeared. The music disappeared. Even time felt suspended. Because suddenly your soulmate realized. You have been feeling this too. You have been restless too. You have been wondering too. You have been sensing movement too. Those random emotions? Not random. Those moments of sudden sadness? Not random. Those nights you stared at the ceiling feeling something was changing? Not random. That pull in your chest? That unexplained anticipation? That spiritual tension? It was real. You were feeling them. At the same time they were feeling you. Two hearts. Two timelines. One divine thread. And now that thread is tightening. But my beloved child, there is something you still do not know. Something even your soulmate has not yet learned. Because the person they met last night, the person across that candlelit table, the person carrying this message, was not merely connected to you. They were connected to your past. Deeply. And what they revealed next. What they placed on that table after the first sign, made your soulmate go pale. Their hands began shaking. Their eyes filled instantly. Because suddenly they realized this connection between you is older than they imagined. Much older. It did not begin recently. It did not begin when you noticed them. It did not begin when they felt your energy. It began before either of you understood what was happening. It may have begun years ago. Perhaps in a moment you dismissed. A crossing. A glance. A missed meeting. A path nearly taken. A place you both stood without realizing. Heaven has been weaving this far longer than you know. And last night, that hidden timeline was exposed. But what exactly was shown to them? What was on that table? What object made them whisper, "No, this can't be"? That answer, I will reveal when you are ready. And trust me, after what happened next, nothing will ever feel ordinary again.